Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, MrBevers. Today we are going to do another opening and build of a pre-release 2019 core set. Let's see how we might build this sealed pool. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight into how I play. Maybe it gives you an insight into how bad I am at Magic. Who knows? Who knows? But either way, we're still going to have fun. See, that's the whole point. The whole point of Magic is not to, I mean, winning is important to a lot of people. I'll give you that. But, winning's not everything. Sometimes you just like to play those weird combos and things to see what you can do, right? With the packs that you're given. So, we'll put our pre-release promo over there, and then let's get right into things. We're going to lay this out like we always do, and that is by color. So, blue, red. I guess we need red over to the side. Let's move that over a bit. Let's put this way. There we go. Okay, white, blue, green, good removal spell in red there. And our first rare is a Supreme Phantom, which I don't think we're going to use, to tell you the truth, but hey, who knows. And a basic land. We'll keep our basic lands on the screen for now to show how many we get versus how many fixings we get. Our first multicolored card, and a Mentor of the Meek, which is not a bad little rare. If you get the right cards to build around it. Oh, we're going to keep those on screen, right? Okay. Basic lands. So far, no fixing. So far, nothing super jumping out at me. The removal in red was pretty nice with the Lightning Blast. The Lightning Strike is a very good removal spell for red, but the rest of the red is kind of mediocre. Blue seems pretty strong so far, and by strong I just mean it has a lot of playables in it. White also seems to have some decent playables. Switcheroo's an interesting card. Another dual card, Poison Tip Archer, and an Open the Graves. So our rares are kind of all over the place at the moment. We got one white, we got one blue, we got one black. I don't think our black is in a shape where we're going to want to play Open the Graves, but let's see. Let's see what else we find. Okay, Ravenous Harpy, pretty good. And we got a Meteor Golem, which is nice. And we got a Transmogrifying Wand. This card is just bonkers good in Limited. Basically, it enters with 3 charge counters, and then you pay 1 and tap it, remove a charge counter, and you basically destroy target creature. Its controller creates a 2/4 White Ox creature token. So they get a 2/4, which can block things, but like, oh man, we got a foil Gigantosaurus. Oh man, look at that boy. Look at that bad boy. But so this card is very good, because it basically removes any of their big threats and turns them into 2/4s. And we got a foil. Okay, so we're a little bit all over the place, as I said. And our first piece of fixing is blue-black. So we've got a rare from every color except red so far. Let's see if we can find a red rare. Right? That seems appropriate. The Transmogrifying Wand can basically go in any deck. It seems pretty good in that aspect. Holy moly, we got a Resplendent Angel. We might be going white. We might be going white something. Probably going to go white something, to be honest. A 3/3 Flying Angel for 3 is, like, bonkers. And look, we got our 4/4 Angel with Vigilance token in the same pack. So, I mean, obviously it's meant to be, right? Man. What a stellar pre-release kit this has been so far. foil rare, really good mythic. This card is very good as well. If you end up in blue-green, this card can really win you games. Especially when there's like a board stall going on. Like, you could get your opponent down quite low, and then he just sits there and dirtles for a bit while you can't swing in, or he can't swing into you, you can't swing into him. And then you just drop this and then swing in with whatever your biggest thing is if you have enough. Like, I mean, because you really only need 6 mana to give, say, your Gigantosaurus +1/+1 and flying, so it's now an 11/11 flyer, right? Like, and we ended up with a Metamorphic Alteration, which would be a fun card to play with Gigantosaurus, or even Resplendent Angel for that matter. So, and we got a foil Duress. Still no fixing, really. We only got the one fixing. We got one Submerged Boneyard, which is actually kind of low. Like, no, I was seeing before that I was getting about maybe, I would say about a third to possibly a half of each box I opened. So that's 36 packs was the fixing lands, basically, or tap lands, as opposed to basics. And in some of the other pre-release kits we opened up, 4, right, versus that. And I think the last pre-release kit we opened, we didn't get any. Maybe we didn't get any, or maybe we got 1 or 2. But like 2 would have been what I would expect to see on average. You should probably see 2 of these on average in your pre-release kits. Let's see what our promo card is, because depending on what it is, I guess, maybe it changes what we play. Hey, look, it's our red rare that we were looking for. Demanding Dragon. This card's actually very good in Limited as well. It's a 5/5 flyer for 5, which you can't beat. And when it comes in, it deals 5 damage to a target opponent unless they sack a creature. So if you play it at the right time, you make them sack a thing that they don't really want to sack, and all is over for them. So again, we'll go through here. We have, of course, the Mentor of the Meek and the Resplendent Angel, which are both very good in white. So Knight of the Tusk is not even a playable card, in my opinion. I wouldn't play it. Daybreak Chaplain, okay in here. Shieldmare, also quite good. It's a 2/3 for 3 that gives you 3 life. So in a life gain deck, it's also very good. Cavalry Drillmaster is okay. He's not great. If you have anything that brings back, like if you have a Johnny, for instance, this guy is definitely playable in a Johnny's deck because he brings back creatures with converted mana cost 2 or less. This is a very good card to have re-enter the battlefield as many times as you like. Inspired Charge is fine for this type of deck. If you're going to go aggro, it's fine. Starcrown Stag is very good. Trusty Pack Beast is fine if you have the artifacts to support it. We have 2 Starcrown Stags. We definitely are going to be playing them. The Aether Shield Artificer is good if you have the artifacts. Really, right now, we don't. We have the Diamond Mare, which we would probably play in this white life gain deck, just because we'd probably pick, white or whatever our other color is, and then play that. And then the Trusty Pack Mare, or Pack Beast, would come in, and so would the Aether Shield. And then I think we would probably, like, maybe this guy. Like, he's definitely not bad, because he's a 3/2 for 3, so he trades up most of the time. I don't think we play any of these. Revitalize, I've seen people playing Revitalize in Sealed. I don't know how I feel about it. It can definitely swing the last turn of the game or whatever in your favor, especially if the opponent thinks that they have you basically dead on board, and then you like gain 3 life and they swing out, they try to kill you, you gain 3 life, and then you crack them back for lethal. I've seen it happen. So, I mean, I know that it works. Whether I would do it, it seems, if you have the right deck for it, maybe. But I don't know. So Aven Wind Mage is fine. A 2/2 flyer for 3 that basically has prowess. Totally Lost is also a fine card. Gearsmith Prodigy is fine if you have the artifacts, which right now we don't. Horizon Scholar is okay. He's a 4/4 flyer for 6, but he scries 2 when he enters. So, I mean, scrying is good, but I think we would rather have an Omen Speaker to scry 2, to be fair. Scholar of Stars, also fine. He's a 3/2 for 4, but if you don't have the artifacts, the draw card thing is not going to help. Anticipate is fine. Switcheroo is also fine. Another Aven Wind Mage is fine. Disperse is good. Another Aven Wind Mage. Frilled is good. Dwindle is good. Frilled is good. Disperse is good. So, I mean, our blue is not super bad. It's not super bad. And, like, I mean, these cards aren't necessarily not playable. They're just not playable in this pool, probably. Mainly because all we have for artifacts is Transmogrifying Wand, Meteor Golem, Explosive Apparatus, and the Diamond Mare. So our blue is a little bit shaky, but that metamorphic alteration might be worth trying to work it out. So Duress, I don't normally like playing Duress in Limited, but I've noticed that it's been doing a lot of work for people in Limited as of late. And that's probably because there is a lot of instants and sorceries, like basically non-creature cards, in this set. And so people are not expecting to have to discard it for 1 black mana. Child of Night is fine. A 2/1 lifelinker for 2 is good. Sky March is good. Doomed Dissenter is good. Ravenous Harpy is good. Epicure is good. Macabre Waltz is fine. Two-Headed Zombie is okay in the right deck. Gravedigger is fine. Mind Rot also, again, like if you want to go down that road, you can. Infernal Scarring, not really amazing. Nightmare's Thirst is fine in the right life gain deck. And Vampire Neonate. So if we were playing white-black life gain, the Nightmare's Thirst would be very good with the white-black life gain. Also, if we were playing white-black and we had the Mentor of the Meek out, this triggers, this triggers, this triggers, this triggers, this triggers, this triggers. So almost all of our black creatures trigger. Sorry, let me just remove those cards that I'm probably not going to end up playing. So, like, these are the decent black cards. These are all the maybes. Macabre Waltz is a little bit better than Duress, in my opinion, just because you can get those guys back onto the table. I've seen games won with Thud. It's definitely a card that people don't expect. Crash Through, I don't think I would play. The Catalyst Elemental, again, unless you have something really big that you need to sack this guy for, or if you have a mechanic that lets you sack, like when you sack things, it works out for you. Fiery Finish, again, is another thing. It's a sorcery speed, 7 damage to target creature. Sure, it does 7 damage to a creature, so you're going to kill it, but it's going to cost you 6 mana at sorcery speed. Crash Through, not so great. Tormenting Voice is a fine red card. Act of Treason, not so great. Spark Tongue, fine. Hostile Minotaur, also fine. Lava Axe, not great. Teutonic Rift, no. Goblin Motivator is fine in the right red deck. Fire Elemental, not great. Lightning Strike, fine. Trumpet Blast, fine. So we don't have nearly enough red that's playable, in my opinion, because we ended up with 3 Crash Throughs, and Crash Throughs only work if you have things to cast them on. And in our red, we have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures? We have 4 creatures that are playable, in my opinion. Actually, even out of that, like, even if you count all the creatures in red that we have in our pool, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 red creatures in total, which is definitely not enough to play. Now, Centaur Courser, 3/3 for 3, fine. Bristling Boar, also fine. Gear Per Guide, also good. Centaur again, yes. Giant Spider, okay. Wall of Vines, meh. Titanic Growth, okay. Talons is good. Plummet is good sideboard tech. Daggerback Basilisk is fine. Rejuvenator is good. You could play a second Giant Spider if you wanted to. It's not really the best play, in my opinion, but you could. And then the Wall of Vines is fine. Like, if you come up against a guy's deck who's got a lot of, like, little 1/1 flyers, this card is great against it, just because it has reach. But you have a lot of anti-flying in green, which is nice. So we'll put that off to the side there. Now, looking at this, right? Our black was pretty decent. Our green was pretty decent. Our blue was pretty decent. Our red was not. So Enigma Drake is just right out because we have no fixing for it, and Demanding Dragon is right out as well because we're not playing red. We've eliminated red from this pool entirely. Now the white is good, but is the white good enough? This is the real question, right? So like the Mentor of the Meek and the Resplendent Angel are both very good cards. But is the rest of our white good enough for that? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Mainly because, like, the Aether Shield guy is not really playable. We only have the Diamond Mare. So, like, that guy's not so great, right? Again, the Trusty Pack Beast, also not amazing in this deck because we don't really have the artifacts for it. Diamond Mare is fine in this deck because of the life gain, and that's what you want Resplendent Angel to do for you. So whenever you've gained 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4. Great. The problem is that our only life gain in this deck is a Daybreak Chaplain, a Shield Mare, and then this Diamond Mare. And that's it. So, not amazing. Like, the amount of life gain in the deck is not amazing. Now, that being said, you can pay 6 to give this guy +2/+2 in lifelink, so he just makes his own 5/5 angels, which is great. But you probably don't want to hinge your deck on a single card, right? Like, if the deck is not strong enough by itself without that card, if you never draw this, or if they remove it or whatever, you're just toast, right? And the Mentor of the Meek with this deck, right, so far, doesn't do much, right? Draws with Diamond Mare, doesn't draw, doesn't draw, doesn't draw, draws, and draws. So it only has 3 cards that actually draw. So not amazing. Now, that being said, if you had paired it with black, this is life gain, this is not life, well, I mean, this is 1 life. That could be the tipping point, I guess, but none of this other, this is life gain, this is life gain. So you could in theory, you probably don't run 2 Macabre Waltz. I didn't realize I had 2 in there. You probably don't run 2, but with only 1 Child of Night, if you had a second Child of Night or a second Neonate, I would probably go white-black life gain with the whatchamacallit, the angel. That being said, we could just be going blue. Yeah, we could just be going evasive blue, because these guys are also very good for top-end blue. Switcheroo is fine as well. Disperse, both disperses are good. So, I mean, this is a dirty combo, right? You switcheroo, change controls of 2 targets, right? 2 target creatures. So you give them your creature and take theirs, and then you disperse your creature back to your hand, because it goes back to the owner's hand. So then you get his creature for 5 mana, and then get to play your card again. It's pretty mean. So all of these blue cards are playable, right? And then the Supreme Phantom is not really, in my opinion, not what we're looking for, because I don't think we have any other Phantoms. We have no other spirits. So like the Supreme Phantom is not useful, but the Metamorphic Alteration is actually a very good card. So we're definitely going to look into playing that. So I think probably what we play with this pool is we probably play blue-green, just because our green has got some decent blockers for flying, and it's got some big butts, like 2/4, 2/2 Death Touch, 2/4, 3/3, 3/2, 4/3, 3/3, right? So the green can sit on the ground and block, and then you can play this guy, and you can play this guy, right? And I think that's your pool. And I don't think, I mean, like, you play the Meteor Golem probably as well, just because he's a good removal spell at 7. You could play the Submerged Boneyard and splash in the black if you want. Like, to splash the black for just, like, the Poison Tip Archer is probably all I would splash for out of black. Because, again, we don't really have any removal in this pool, which is kind of upsetting. The only removal we ended up with was a Lightning Strike, right? We got no bites in green. We got no Take Vengeance in white. We got no Liliana's Caress in black. We got no Murders in black. So, again, our only removal is really our bounce spells. And we don't even have counter spells to fix that. But, that being said, you could go, like, because we have... Where's this? So we have 3 flyers here in blue, right? So 3, 4, 5. We only have 5 creatures in blue. That's pretty low. But that's why you play it with green, right? Because then in green you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so you end up with 15 creatures, which is a pretty good spread. I think we're going to end up playing blue-green with the flyers, and then, of course, we'll try to fit in the Transmogriforing Wand. So we'd end up probably playing blue-green with this pool. The white is super tempting. The white is super tempting, but I think it's a trap. I think this is a trap. I think trying to make this work with the black life gain, like doing a white-black life gain. The white-black life gain is one of my favorite formats in Limited right now. Its attrition is just bonkers, especially with his neonates, because they're 0-3s for 1. And then they drain your opponents. So, like, you can use them to block pretty much a lot of things on the ground. and then drain them afterwards. And even if they swing into you with like a 4/3, if you have 2 neonates, really they're only doing 2 damage to you because you're going to end up draining them for 2, right? So they hit you for 4 and you drain them for 2. So they hit you for 2 and you hit them for 2, so it's essentially the same time clock, right? And that's if you only have neonates. I mean, you could have other things that are gaining you life, or like the epicures. These guys are great when you gain life, they lose life, that kind of stuff. So like the white-black life gain drain deck is pretty sweet, but I think with this pool we would definitely be going blue-green. Let's just take a look. I don't want the video to be too much longer than this, but let's take a look. We'll put all these cards off to the side over here. What are we not playing? We're not playing either of these. And there's our Resplendent Angel and our dude. So we're not playing those cards either. That's our green. And then in black, we didn't have any rares put into this, did we? No. Okay. So what am I missing? I'm missing the Alteration and the Wand. Okay, those are the only 2 rares we're missing, and they're on the table. This is still a maybe. That's why it's out here. I haven't decided what I want to do with that yet. So let's see. Let's see what this deck does. So this is a 1-drop. This is a 3-drop. This is a 7-drop. This is a 5-drop. Now, Gigantosaur might be really hard to play in a blue-green deck, right? Because you're not mono-green, and if you're not mono-green, getting 5 green mana is not necessarily going to be easy, right? But we'll see. I just am putting these out like this right now to check out what the curve is like and what our creature versus other things are like at the moment. Oh, wait, that's... Okay, that's a 3, that's a 4, that's a 5, this is a 6. Okay. We have no 1 or 2 drop creatures, so we're going to be slow out of the gate. We're going to be very slow out of the gate. So if our opponents get up on us with like a Boros aggro or anything like that, things are going to be pretty bad for us. That being said, we have a lot of 3-drops, right? And of course, we're going to have to pare this down quite a bit because we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We have 26 cards. We need to cut it down to 23-ish. So we need to cut 3 cards. So, first things first is we would probably look at here. We probably want to keep all of these 3-drops. Yeah. Okay, so we could cut 1 giant spider if we wanted. That's probably fine. And then maybe you cut the Gigantosaurus just because getting to 5 green is not likely, since the majority of our deck is blue. Anticipate, disperse, metamorphic, titanic growth. And I mean, like, maybe you get rid of the talons, but I like talons quite a bit just because it's a +1/+1 and trample, and then it can come back from your graveyard. Oh, this is a creature. We should put this up here. Okay? That's probably wise. It's possible that like the totally lost is what you want to get rid of, or maybe it's the dwindle. We're probably not going to be playing the explosive apparatus just because there's not a lot of need for it. If we come up against an opponent that has a lot of like X1s or X2s, we would probably side it in. What does the metamorphic alteration do for us? At this point, it turns a number of our things into like a 4/6 unblockable guy if we have 7 mana, or it turns one of our smaller dudes into a 2/3 flyer that can pay mana to do things, right? Having 2 Skyrider patrols on the table would be pretty sweet. So like even converting just like a 3/3 centaur into a 2/3 flyer would be okay. Or even like the Elvish Rejuvenator once he's on the battlefield. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we still have to cut 2 cards. We still have to cut 2 cards. Maybe you're just cutting a centaur. And maybe you're cutting like one of the frilled serpents. I don't know, we're lowering our creatures quite a bit here, so maybe we don't want to go that far. Maybe we cut the talons. Or maybe we even cut the meteor golem just because it's like 7 mana to destroy a non-land permanent. Although this is good because it gets rid of like enchantments and stuff. I'm pretty sure that I want to run this. So I mean, like, I know it might not be the smartest idea to run the Gigantosaurus, but I feel like I want to run it for the fun. I want to run it for the fun. And that's what this is all about. I want to run the Gigantosaurus because I want the chance to make the Gigantosaurus an 11/11 flyer with Skyrider Patrol. That is literally the only reason I want to run that Gigantosaurus. Now, if you're running the Gigantosaurus, you definitely want to run the Talons, because Talons on Gigantosaurus make it an 11/11 Trampler, which is basically just game ending for your opponent. So maybe you take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 creatures. So maybe you take out the Totally Lost, or you take out the Dwindle. I don't think that we want to take out, like, maybe you take out Disperse, but I don't think you want to. I think Disperse is just better than Totally Lost. Because it's only 2 mana instant as opposed to 5. Now, I understand that this pulls them off their draw. Like, they don't get to draw anything additional. So this only puts it in their hand versus on top of their library. But I think for 2 mana, you'd rather be doing that. I think you'd rather be dispersing than Totally Lost. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So there you go, 22, so you can bring the Totally Lost back in. So you can bring the Totally Lost back in, there's 22. And that's with Gigantosaurus. Now that's also, like, I mean, we have a bunch of good sideboard cards that we could be pulling in. But I think that's the build that I would probably run, and I would probably have fun with it, and I'd probably die a lot, but, like, I would probably lose a lot to early game aggro. Just because I don't really have, like, I mean, put it this way, if you draw like a bunch of these Aven Wind Mages at the beginning of the game, like, they're just 2/2 flyers for 3. They're not gonna be able to block things, and you're gonna end up taking a bunch of damage early game, right? It might be better to, instead of playing the Bristling Boar, it might be better to play the other Giant Spider, just because it's a bigger butt, harder to kill. And that's sort of like, we're trying to get to the late game where we can basically be a bunch of evasive creatures. So it's possible that instead of playing the 4/3 aggro creature, you play the 2/4, right? And I mean, you can obviously you can switch them out as needed. So like if you want to start with the 4/3 and go that way, you can, and then change out to the Giant Spider if your opponent is more aggro. So, you know, lots of options in that case. And then of course there were still some like other cards in the pile here from blue and green, I think. Well, there was maybe not from green, but oh no, there is some green. Yeah, so you've got your Wall of Vines in case your opponent is aggro, because like that's a nice 1-drop that can get in the way of a lot of things. And then blue, you don't really have anything else. You might bring in the Horizon Scholar if you notice your opponent doesn't really have any way to deal with flyers, just because it's a 6-drop flyer. Anyway, there you go, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I've been your host, MrBevers. This has been a little Core 2019 pre-release kit opening and build. We opened up some pretty sweet stuff. We opened up a Resplendent Angel. We opened up a foil Gigantosaurus. Can't complain about those things. And the deck looks like it would be pretty fun to play. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, may your pulls ever be better.